What is going on, my fellow collectors? Jim here with another figure review. Let's check out the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Gladiator Hulk from Thor Ragnarok. Very cool. I'm glad to pick this guy up. Packaging is what we've seen before with Marvel Select. It's basically just a big old bubble with a bunch of cardboard on it, but it does say Gladiator Hulk. Got Marvel Select, Thor Ragnarok. That is pretty cool. Figure clearly displayed. Top of the packaging, bottom of the packaging, side of the packaging. Really cool image here on the side. So that's really cool. Then on the back it just shows an image of the figure along with a bit of a read up here. So I'll just kind of slowly go up this if you guys want to read this. Then of course we do have that is sculpted by Gentle Giant Studio. But yeah, that's the packaging, guys. Let's go ahead and crack this big old hunk of plastic out of here and take a closer look at it. Okay, and here's the Hulk out of the packaging along with all the accessories that we do get with this bad boy. We do get his kind of signature weapons that we have seen before. But these look really great, you know, nice sculpt on them. We do get some kind of brown wash to give it a little bit of, you know, rusted look and a little bit of weathering on there. But they do have nice sculpt. And I really like this part right here, how it has a little bit of like texture on it. But yeah, these turned out really nice, great sculpt, very cool. You do get his axe, and I think the axe actually turned out really nice. I love the crudeness of the sculpt to kind of bring out this blade, you know, how it's all not very even, but I think that just makes it look even more, you know, badass. We do get nice kind of brown washes on here again as well to kind of bring out a little bit of weathering. I feel like a little bit more weathering, you know, would have kicked it up a notch, but it does look cool for what it is. Of course, we do have two gripping hands for the weapons that come on him. And then you just get two, you know, closed fist hands. And I mean, the sculpt on these is nice. I do wish we could have gotten some wash within the wraps because they do look a little plain. You have like the blue and then the purple. But the plates that are on the, you know, top of the hands, they turn out really good with the sculpt. And again, we get that brown wash. Very cool. But nice sculpting in the fist. And then we do have his, you know, helmeted head, which I think looks really, really good. It almost looks just like the Hasbro Build-A-Figure version did, which unfortunately I don't have to, you know, compare this figure with, but I didn't get every single piece to build the entire thing, but just remembering seeing that it looks a lot like this. They did a good job with theirs as well. But I do like all the wash that we have all throughout this great sculpt. I love this portion here, how we have this red and it kind of fades up a little bit into the black, and then of course you can kind of see each individual strand of that. That looks really good. One thing I will say, I wish they would have changed the expression on this head sculpt because it's almost like the exact same head sculpt that comes on the figure. You know, I mean, I guess it is a little bit different, but he's more or less just making that same kind of like frowny, pissed off face. So it would have been nice if they would at least given us you know, open mouth or, you know, gritting teeth or just a little bit something different with the masked version. I think would have, you know, definitely kicked it off a notch. But this does look awesome. And we do get the markings and everything. Nice paint. The eyes are kind of painted looking up, but I think they did that intentionally. So because he's not going to be looking up at anybody. So when you do bring his head down, you know, his eyes are kind of looking right at the person. And as far as this Hulk, I think they did a really nice job with it. I gotta say, you know, it's a very, very big piece of plastic. But I do like the head sculpt that comes on the figure. I think it turned out really good. Especially the hair sculpt. I think they knocked the hair out of the park. I think it looks great. The sculpting of it, you know. It's pretty much just a one color, but with looks like a little bit of like hints of gray in it. But yeah, I love the face sculpt, looks really good. Nice paint. Love how we have his little markings going down there. The eyes look good on this guy. The overall, like, just proportions of him, I think looks really, really good. And then, of course, we get all this really nice, you know, armored pieces that he had on him. And this entire piece is floating. Really, really soft here. This part right here is very, very like hard, you know, dense plastic, but this is all really soft, so it's not going to like mess up any kind of articulation or hinder anything. But really nice sculpting detail on all of this. Not so much wash. I mean, it's there, but I feel like they could have, you know, added a little bit more. But it did turn out really good, and I really like these parts right here, how we have these little straps, individual straps all around. I think that just looks really good. And then of course they hit all these little silver spots just to bring it out, and all the little buckles and everything. So that's always awesome when, you know, they do that. Just adds a lot more to the figure. But this entire piece, you know, wraps around his entire back. Again, the straps look really good. Look at the back of him, man. Look at like the muscle definition on the back of this bad boy. Just looks great. And I really like this armored shoulder pad up here. It looks great. We get a little bit of black within the brown wash up here. I wish I would have added that all over the figure, but this shoulder pad looks really good. Really nice and just, you know, grungy and weathered. I think it looks really good. Almost like some metallic blue here. And then we get all of this kind of plain purple, you know, within all the straps and lines of the rest of the, you know, wrap and his little skirt piece down here. He does have some, you know, additional kind of sculpted wraps going around his bicep and his forearm. And of course, we do have the wraps that lead up to the hands. And then we got these really nice armored pieces going down his left arm. They look good. Really nice job with the sculpting and all that. And on his other arm, not much going on except for this little portion right here, which is done okay, decent, missing a little bit of wash, but of course all of the, you know, markings on him look good for the most part. There is like some brighter spots and some spots that are kind of, you know, a little bit more green bleeding through than the rest, but I don't think it takes away from the figure. Then we get really nice sculpting, you know, within his chest and his abs area. That looks, even some hair kind of sculpted in there. So I think that turned out really good. Really cool looking. Then of course we have his little skirt piece here, which is again a you know, softer material. It is a separate piece, even though I think it's glued on him right here or pegged on him. But like Hulk's even got a belly button. But yeah, this is all soft. But nice, you know, sculpting details all throughout it. Of course we get those kind of purple, you know, outlines on some portions, and again with the silver, really like that. That looks good all the way around. And we get a little bit of wash through this. It's not much. It's not much, but it is there. So that looks really good. And then even his little under boxer briefs or whatever these things are. Not boxer briefs, but you know what I mean. But even that has some nice, you know, sculpting kind of textures on it and everything like that. So his under shorts. But the legs look good. You know, nice sculpt, and again, definition and all that. And then coming down to his wraps and his sandals. A little bit sloppy with the paint. It's almost like you just kind of zoop. Because I got some purple kind of bleeding off on there. But, I mean, overall, it looks good. Again, nice sculpting, nice brown paint and everything. And his sandals, I think, turned out really good. I mean, we got his little sculpted toes in there. So, yeah, I mean, I think overall, the entire figure just really turned out nice, you know? Big old hunk of plastic, that's for sure. Now, before I pop the other head on, let me just give you a measurement while he is standing straight up. Looks like to the top of his head, he is almost a little bit over 9.5 inches tall. So he's going to be almost 10 inches, if not a little bit taller, with the you know, helmeted head on. Now, as far as articulation, it's not bad. There's a double ball peg for the, you know, head, so you get, you know, full rotation. You don't really get a lot of up at all. I mean, that's about as much up as you're going to get, which is more or less just looking, you know, straight forward. But you do get nice down, so that's not bad. And then you do get nice, you know, side to side pivot, so that's awesome. The arms are on your standard, you know, swivel and hinge, and they come out not much, but I guess enough, you know, for him being such a bulky character. Of course, that does swivel, you know, all the way around. He does have a bicep swivel. Just a single bend at the elbow. So he only gets about that much out of his elbow. So that's not much really, but not too bad. Of course, you got bicep swivel over here as well. And of course, you know, the hands do have the swivel and the hinge. And the hinge is actually up and down. So that's cool that the hinge is on, you know, up and down, so he can hold his accent and hammer. He does have a cut here, so you get, you know, swivel out of that. and then you do get a little bit of crunch forward. Not so much back, but I mean, you get nice kind of all around movement with that, because you can kind of tilt them to the side a little bit. It does run into the sculpt pretty quick, but I mean, you do get side to side. And then it's just a waist twist down here. So you can move both portions of that. So you can get them into some pretty cool, you know, punching poses. The legs are a little bit limited. You can kind of see that it's a hinge joint. They got the, you know, little, almost like a DC-UC kind of looking hip, but it doesn't really want to hinge out, and I think it's just because of the sculpt, because I mean, this is soft, so it would get up out of the way, but it's actually crashing here. They didn't cut enough of that out, so as you turn that in, it's just kind of hitting, but you get about that much out, about that much up, not really a lot back. You do have a, you know, thigh cut in there. Double jointed knees, yeah, you get almost 90 degrees, if not 90 degrees, so not too bad. And then for the feet, you basically just get a big rocker, so you get nice movement there. And then you have the hinge, which surprisingly, you get decent range with that hinge. Like going back, you can really kind of force it and get it going way back, so that's really cool. So that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think the movement for what you're gonna, you know, for him being such a big figure, you're gonna, you know, be able to get him into, you know, the poses you want to get him into. As far as removing the head, it was a pain in the butt. Still is a pain in the butt. But I guess after you do that a few times. But that's what he looks like with his, you know, helmeted head on. And it does look really cool. I think the figure looks awesome with that on as well. Now let's get into some comparisons, because I'm sure you guys want to see what this Hulk is going to look like up against some of your, you know, Thor Ragnarok figures. So here he is next to the Thor. So I think that looks great. I mean, I think that's probably a better height than you're going to get with the Build-A-Figure version of this figure. But yeah, that's the Thor that came with the Valkyrie. And there's Valkyrie. And here's Hela. So, I mean, he's going to look great up in your, you know, Marvel Legends 6-inch figures, just because he's so much bigger. You know, he's going to look great up against your other Marvel figures. As far as some other Marvel Select, here he is next to the Destroyer. And you can see that he even, you know, towers over him. So yeah, that's awesome. Here he is next to the Marvel Legends Colossus. You see he towers over him as well. I mean, it's a big, huge, intimidating figure. Now, as far as the two gripping hands, I will say that his right hand, getting these in there, you really have to cram. Now, as far as the other hand, you can just kind of like, they will fit in there a little bit easier. And it almost seems like the hammer is a little bit loose in this hand if you get it all the way through. See, it kind of wants to like fall all the way down. But I mean, you can kind of pull it up and it does kind of stay there. Same thing with the axe. The axe fits in a little bit better. But again, it'll just kind of slide right through. But I could like barely get him through this hand. This hand must be a little bit more tight, but you really have to cram. So you're going to be, you know, chipping paint and everything. And as far as swapping out the hands, it's easy. It's just a peg. So you just pop that one on, and then you can just pop the straight fist on. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is going to make a really nice Gladiator Hulk for your Thor Ragnarok, you know, figures, or even just having a Hulk on the shelf. It's going to make a really cool piece because it's going to tower over some of your other, you know, 6-inch scale figures. But yeah, guys, that was a look at the Marvel Select Diamond Select Toys, the Gladiator Hulk from Thor Ragnarok. That was the review. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next figure review.